know how it is for other composers, but if I don't fall in love with the source material, I can't write it. I can't, there's nothing. If it doesn't glow in that kind of Wizard of Oz way, it has to have something to me, because when you get in the weeds, as you will, you still have to love it and find something inside of it.
Grounded is about a woman who's a fighter pilot, and because of an unexpected pregnancy, she has to leave the military for a moment, and when she comes back, she's reassigned to flying drones instead, and having to make that adjustment, and then finding that going back and forth between war and home becomes increasingly untenable for her.
Grounded is the story of a woman named Jess who loves being a pilot of an F-16 in the Gulf War. She's an ace, you know, she's fantastic at her job. She loves it.
It's her entire identity, basically, is this fighter pilot who is at the top of her game. She's happy with her life and doing what she cares about and what she does so well.
On leave, back in the States, she meets a rancher named Eric. They have a little affair.
And she becomes pregnant and is, as they say, grounded.
She decides she wants to have this kid, so she has to stop flying because it's dangerous. They have a child, and 5 years later, she's starting to feel the pull of wanting to go back. And the gig that is available to her is now to be flying a drone from a trailer outside of Las Vegas. The main part of the opera deals with what that psychological toll is on this woman.
I've seen so many war stories and so many war movies and war books, and they've all been told from a male perspective, you know, for however many thousand years, that's all we've known. And to me, when you see that woman up there in her flight suit, I feel like right away there's a jolt of newness and differentness and like leaning in and like, oh, okay, what is this about?
I trained in Nashville and producing recordings there when I was in my 20s, and started theatrically here, conducting at 19 and playing piano. And it was just seas of men. And that was not a thing for me. There was expectation. That's the way the world of music works. So that was, for me, a big entry point. And I think there's a lot of that has been written about from a male point of view, from the male gaze, about how a woman breaks down, how a woman goes crazy. And I think it gave me an opportunity to imagine how a woman has a work-life balance when you're about to send bombs down.
The story takes place in two worlds. One is the grounded world of Wyoming, Las Vegas, anything that takes place sort of on the ground. Everything that is about flying either a real plane or flying a drone is up on the deck, and it lives inside the world of digital information. When I first started talking to Mimi Lian, our brilliant set designer, she suggested that the technology of the drone piloting is so key to what our story is, that it should be actually the story. So she designed a set that is made up of a floor, a wall, and a ceiling that is all LED screens. I'm hoping, right, that it is quite magnificent and terrifying and beautiful all at once.
It's just the most amazing material, the most amazing team of people. It's a gorgeous story. It's a meaningful human story about a person who, you know, seems so real. So to have the opportunity to play this character and to sing music written by Jeanine Tesori is impossible to turn down.
Jeanine Tesori is just one of those incredible musicians who's really versatile and who has been working in theater, in film, as a composer, as someone specialized in voices. And, you know, it's a wonderful background to write opera. And especially in a time where I feel like we are way past these little boxes of separations, you know. And I will, you know, even mention someone like Leonard Bernstein, even in his time. You know, he was trying to blend all the genres and was very much criticized for it. And I feel like we're past that. And a genius mind like Jeanine's is the embodiment of this.
The great thing about Yannick is that he is open musically to people who come in from the outside, as opposed to, you don't belong here. I met with Emily, and I immediately wanted to write it for her, and I went to her vocal lessons. She studies with this incredible teacher, and the way they discussed music and the color, and she uses these hand movements. I just thought, oh, well, that's it. That's it. I think Grounded is about unseen trauma. The psyche behind that, when you are a button pusher or you are an orderer, taker, outer, not someone who's giving the orders, but someone who's carrying them out. It's at the heart of this play, is asking what we are asking of these people. For me, the play and the opera is about a moral awakening.
The intent of the play has just been elevated to this other level with these magnificent singing and with the power of the music that you've put in service of it.
Being one of the first two women to be commissioned, I care and I don't care. It's a strange thing, right? Because I don't want any attention to be made, and I want all the attention to be made so that it can quickly go into the, you know, away on the waterways of history. As one of 4 girls in my family, and the sea of really hardworking Italian men, all of whom served, all of whom had trauma from the war. You know, my uncle stared out the window for months after he came back from Vietnam, to the point where I was so young, I didn't understand it. And now doing this opera, I understand more, and I think that's the beauty of this kind of story, that you can simply walk in someone else's shoes. And so and my grandfather, who was a composer and died very young, came here and wasn't able to do that. It ties, for me, it's about the lineage of my family, less than being a woman, about being, you know, the legacy of my family being played out in this opera house, which for me is not a small thing.